the population around Bethlehem and nearby Ramah, the relatively small number of children that would have fit the execution profile, and the large number of people whom Herod and the Romans were accustomed to killing on a whim, it is doubtful that the slaughter of these male toddlers would have warranted much notice outside the immediate area. It certainly would have been no concern of Rome. Both Yeshua and Yohanan were living in the hill country of Judea, in the vicinity of Bethlehem, at the time Herod's execution order was released. They were both in their second year. Yeshua was born in quiet obscurity, with only a handful of shepherds privy to the announcement by the angel. Yohanan, on the other hand, was born as a result of a miraculous announcement to an old priest serving in the temple on the high day of Shavuot. Zechariah, his father, was struck deaf and dumb, and the multitude of the congregation of Israel was present to witness this unusual occurrence. At the time of Yohanan's circumcision, Zechariah's mouth was open, and he cried out a prophecy concerning a son that was noised about through all the hill country of Judea. In the vicinity of Jerusalem, there was only one obvious candidate for the Messiah, Yohanan ben Zechariah, the Cohen, the miracle child. Herod would not be able to rest until the son of Zechariah was dead. Yohanan was filled with the Spirit from his mother's womb, and the little child lived in the wilderness, eating the diet of a homeless nomad, kosher grasshoppers and wild honey. He lived in seclusion until the day his ministry began, in the 15th year of Tiberius Caesar, the year 26 of the Common Era. The details raise the question, where are his aging mother and father? In the gospel records of Luke and Matthew, Yeshua refers to a man named Zechariah who was murdered between the altar and the temple. Upon you will come the responsibility for all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Barachias, whom you slew between the temple and the altar. The Greek version of Matthew presumptuously added the phrase, son of Barachias, but the ancient Hebrew Matthew reads identical to Luke's account, which does not designate this particular Zechariah as the son of Barachias. Yeshua could have been referring to the prophet named in 2 Chronicles 24, but most likely he was referring to the execution of his mother's cousin, Yohanan's father, Zechariah the Cohen, for which the temple guard was directly responsible. The ancient extra-biblical text, the Proto-Evangelion of James, tells of the execution of Zechariah by the temple guards under Herod's authority. The Proto-Evangelion, chapter 16, verse 3. Elisheva, hearing that her son Yohanan was about to be sought, took him and went up into a mountain looking for a place to hide him. Verse 8. And there appeared to them an angel of Yehovah to preserve them. But Herod made search after Yohanan and sent servants to Zechariah when he was ministering at the altar and said to him, where have you hidden your son? He replied to them, I am a minister of Yehovah and I am serving at the altar. How should I know where my son is? Herod was incensed. Is not this son of his likely to become king of Israel? He sent his servants again to speak to Zechariah. Tell the truth. Where is your son? Do you realize that your life is in my hands? But Zechariah replied, I am a witness for the Almighty. And if Herod sheds my blood, God will receive my soul. And you also will have shed innocent blood. Nevertheless, Zechariah was murdered between the altar and the entrance of the temple. It was the week of Hanukkah that this bloodbath of both the innocent children and Miriam's cousin, the priest Zechariah, transpired. It is true that the feast of the Lord are all prophetic shadow pictures of good things to come. But the feast of Hanukkah is also a prophetic shadow picture of bad things to come. Antiochus Epiphanes is a case in point. Antiochus was the anti-Messiah of the Greek era, just as Herod was a literal anti-Messiah who set out to kill Yeshua Messiah in the Roman era. In the time of Antiochus, the pagans erected a statue of Zeus on the Temple Mount on Zeus's birthday, December 25th, and proclaimed that Zeus was God, and that the Torah of Moses was now old, nullified, void of authority. In the book of Maccabees, in the original 1611 King James Version of the Bible, we read about the dedicated Hanukkite believers who rose up against Antiochus and the sons of Greece. Contrary to the expectations of all the nations surrounding Israel, these dedicated warriors conquered the greatest military power in the world. And they did so in the name and with the power of Yehovah. They destroyed the image of Zeus, broke down the altar that had been defiled with swine flesh, cleansed the Temple Mount of sun god worship, and dedicated a new altar to the worship and glory of the true God. That is why Yeshua celebrated Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedications. And he did so by healing a man that was born blind. We are all blind until he opens our eyes.